Welcome, more gamers, to another Mid Sussex YouTube channel video. I'm Chris, and I'm doing another of my Build Me an Army Worthy Of videos. Last week I did Dwarves, and this week it's Mordor. As you can see in front of you, it's the Witch King of Angmar, but he's still integral to the Mordor list. Now I would put him and a unnamed wraith ahead of Sauron himself, purely because Sauron has so many points and he's easy to game against. You just avoid him and play to the objectives. But yeah, the great thing about these guys is you can play them however you want. You can upgrade them to your heart's content. You could give the Witch King the Morgul Crown, give him 3 attacks, and then put him on a fell beast, so he's a combat hero. Or you can, what I do, is just put him on a horse, same as a ring wraith, and beef up all their will, maybe might and fate as well, depending on your points cost. If you've got the points spare, give them as much as possible, and just have them running across the back of my army, compelling, transfixing, and sap willing where necessary. So yeah, the ring race, everyone knows what the ring race do. They're just really annoying. You can just, it's pretty much that. As soon as someone puts down a ring race, it's like, my leader could be in trouble here. Especially with what I do. Again, like I said in the last video, this is not the correct way necessarily to build an army list, but this is what I do. I would put an unnamed wraith or Witch King with this guy, the Mordor Troll Chieftain. That pose is so cool, straight out of the film, where he's charging straight out for King Alasar and destroys him, almost. This guy is super strong. He is Fight 7, Strength 7, Defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, Courage 4, 2 Might, 1 Will, 1 Fate. So in the Lord of the Rings era, he was very, very strong, because there are very few heroes in the good force, because that's usually how he plays, evil versus good, that would be able to take him on. Even Glorfindel, who was Fight 7, obviously Heroic Strike didn't exist, so it was literally very risky to send in Glorfindel, and it's much easier for this guy to wound Glorfindel than it is for Glorfindel to wound the Mordor Troll Chieftain. So how I use them is, I'd probably go for the unnamed wraith, because he's that much cheaper, on a horse still, and you could actually win a game of to the death, for example, potentially in the first turn, whereby you can use this guy, compel your opponent's hero, preferably leader if you can, and then just have this guy jump on him and rend him, and that's it, he's out. That hero's got no chance if he's compelled out under the axe of transfix and then got a troll rending at him. If you have compelled them out, you probably trap them in with a load of orcs as well, just to get the extra dice from the troll, but that hero's got no chance. And I've done that several times, and it's very, very effective. So spellcaster and monster, very good. Now, someone else I'd take, and who everybody takes if they've got a mass load of orcs, sorry it's not painted in advance, but is the Orc Shaman. Personal preference on the Warg. Yeah, it's handy, it is really handy, being able to have him move 10 inches rather than 6 and go up and down the line where I might need him more. But if you haven't got the 10 points, then I wouldn't make room for him to have the Warg. So basically, if you're any new players, what he does is he has Fury and Transfix, casts Fury on a 3+, which allows all orcs within 6 inches to automatically pass Courage tests, which is good because they're only Courage 2, and also means they get a 6-up Fate point, essentially. However, if you channel it by using a Might point, you get 5-up save, which you probably always do. So he pretty much just holds, if you've got loads and loads of orcs, which generally you would, he'd just hold them all together. That's essentially his job. He's not going in fighting, he's going to sit there and just make sure the orcs are doing their job. A good hero I would combine him with, so to go along with my spellcaster and monster combination, I'd go with a shaman and a taskmaster. Now this guy, if he's within 6 inches of a hero who calls a heroic action, so move, shoot, combat, strike, whatever, you roll a dice on a 4+, so 50-50 roll, you get that might point for free. And as many will testify, you always get a 4+ with this guy. You just do. He's just really, really irritating. and really fun to use. So why are these two a good combination? It's because turn 1, you go, I'm going to channel Fury with the Shaman. You'll have this guy next to him, the Taskmaster. You will roll a 4 up. No, you won't, don't quote me on that. It's obviously 50-50. But if you do get the 4 up, I'd then cast Fury with the Shaman with 1 dice, because then I know I can always do it again next turn because he's still got his might point. But then if you do cast it on 1 dice, you've still got a spare might and a will to do whatever you want. Because if you weren't aware, Fury runs out if you run out of will, so you'd probably chuck 2 at it because he gets 3 will base, keep 1 spare, just have Fury going. But if you've got your 3 might point off the Taskmaster, chuck 1 dice at it, and then you've got 2 spare still, and then you can have that cheeky transfix later in the game on a hero. So then you've essentially got this guy, who's definitely got a few transfixes in there, and then, although it's very unlikely he's going to cast it on a 5+, it's still in your opponent's mind. But it's not only that, it's him having the might point, and can call a heroic move that you don't care about at any time, and he could still get that for free from the Taskmaster. And I have had a game against Sam, where essentially my Shaman had Mighty Hero. He called about 7 or 8 heroic moves and just kept having the might point. So that is a great combination. Now, this is where my sort of theme comes in. You very rarely see this guy. And it's kind of obvious why, because all those heroes that I've just shown you are very good. They're probably the best ones to pick ahead of these guys. Generic Orc captains are good. They're fight 4, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 3, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. But 5 points extra, you can take a named hero, which you see in the film, Grishnak and Gorbak. And for another 5 points, you can make the defense 6. Which is really cool, because then you get 3 might points that you're not really that fussed about, and for cheap as well. So you've got 6 might right there for less than 100 points. So they can literally just sit in the middle, heroic move, yep, heroic strike, heroic combat, yep, everywhere. And then if you've got this guy in there as well, you're going to get half of them, you'd hope. So that's 9 might points, you could say, on average. So they're really cool to take, and obviously they're cool in the film. For an extra 10 points, you could take something with a bit more hitting power in Shagrat. Now this guy's interesting because he's got 2 profiles. The one there usually depicts the captain of Kirathungal, who's half the amount of points of his other alter ego. So this one is fight 5, strength 5, defense 5, 2 attacks, courage 4, 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate, which is really good. He can take a shield to make a defense 6, but it's a fight 5, strength 5, so he can match your opponent's captains. And if you've got him in there with a bunch of orcs, his strength 5, if you trapped him 4 dice, strength 5 is going to do some damage. His other version is actually got 2 extra will points, 2 extra fate points, and 2 extra points of defense, and an extra attack and an extra wound. So his fight 5, strength 5, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 4, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate. That's good, 3 attacks, strength 5. And he has knocked to the ground special rule if he charges, exactly if he's a cavalry model, because he's got the shield of Kirathungal. Wow. This guy could do some damage with 6 attacks at strength 5. He's basically Dwalin on a pony, without the +1. So yeah, another hero who is not seen almost at all. I think I've seen him once at a tournament. Never know if you've seen him before, but all the heroes I've just shown you, including the captains, which, again, might see them, but you're always going to see the Taskmaster, you're always going to see the Shaman, you're always going to see a Ring Wraith. But this guy, I love this guy, the Mouth of Sauron. He is the best extended bit, potentially one of my favourites in all of the trilogies. In both of the trilogies, one of my favourite extended scenes. He's super cool, and based on his stat line, because he's the same points as a Taskmaster and a Shaman, he is fight 4, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 4, which isn't bad. He could do some damage on his horse if he charges in, 3 attacks, 6 on the knockdown. He's got 1 might, 4 will, 1 fate, which suggests he's more of a caster and a support character. And obviously take his armoured horse as well as an option. He's got Drain Courage, Terrifying Aura, Transfix and Sap Will. You probably wouldn't use the first two, given he has such low will, but Transfix and Sap Will could be really handy. And the only reason I take this guy is because A is themed, B looks cool, and C you can combine him with an actual spellcaster. And so a good little move you can do, so like I said earlier, compel your enemy hero out, and then charge him in, charge this guy in to rend him, charge in the Mordor Troll Chieftain, and rend the hell out of him. However, if your opponent's hero resists said compel or transfix or whatever, so chuck 2 dice transfix to this guy. If it's resisted, chuck a cheeky one with the Mouth of Sauron, and you get it. You basically got 2 goes there. So even if your opponent's hero resists it, he's then wasted his might point to only be transfixed by the next guy anyway, and then still have a troll sit on him. So that is a really killer combination, which I love and have won many a game using that. So yeah, Mouth of Sauron, very rarely seen, but he looks cool on the table. So yeah, that would be my heroes. You can start to see a bit of a theme coming on here, and if I was super themed, I'd put this guy on a Fell Beast, the Ring Wraith on a Fell Beast, but I'm awful at using Fell Beasts. I've tried a couple of times, and it takes a lot of practice. You'll notice Ed Bull has won a lot of games using 3 Fell Beasts, and new players may well think that that's because he's just taking 3 monsters. It's not that easy. It really isn't. Fell Beasts are very hard to use. You need to think 2-3 turns ahead, and yeah, they are difficult to combat, but they're also difficult to use. So yeah, I'd probably take him on a horse personally and just use him running about along the back line, casting spells and helping my Troll Chief out. Taskmaster, he was obviously in the film as well. You're starting to see this evil black gate. And the Shaman, I think I can get away with having him themed, because he could be the guy there that was trying to get all the Orcs to the front line. He was whipping them, so he was sort of like G'ing them up, getting them angry kind of thing, that form of fury. So yeah, they would be my 5 heroes. If I didn't mention before, this is for 750 points. I'd take these guys at. Anything lower, I probably wouldn't bother with 2 spellcasters. I'd probably take out the Mouth of Sauron, and take a captain for the extra might, one of the named ones, Grishnak or Gorbag, for extra might, or a 60-point Wraith who can cast better than him and have more will. So yeah, that would be my heroes. So for troops, Mordor have a lot of troops. Generally you'd bulk them out with Orcs, so generic Mordor Orcs like this guy, and one that I've done a bit of conversion work on here to have the Ministerious armour. So these are generic fight 3, strength 3, defense 4 base, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 2. They're naff, but they're cheap, so you probably could spam them. Defense 5 with a shield, but I wouldn't take these guys. I'd take these guys. At 750 points, I take a warband of them, or about 10 or so, just so you can support here, there and everywhere, because extra dice is always nice. After all, it is a dice-based game, so you give yourself the best chances. So this guy, I would not take. I would take a lot of these guys. The Morannon Orcs. Who fight 3, the same. 1 attack the same, 1 wound the same, courage 2 the same. However, they have +1 strength, strength 4, and +1 defense, defense 5 base, but 6 with a shield. And you would always take shields on this guy. Why would you not want a defense 6 Orc who has a 5-up fate point with this guy? Why would you not? And then I'd probably take 12 of these guys, and I'd take 12 with Spear as well. And because they have the option to, I'd always take them with the shield to make them defense 6 as well, because then if they do break through your front line of these guys, eventually killing these, you've then got these at defense 6 with the Fury save. They can shield as well and just hold your flank together and bide you time until you adjust yourself accordingly, essentially. So yeah, those 2, a warband each of those. And then, because that's the main bulk of my army, especially with about 10 of these guys as well, and you'd always take a banner. just because you've got so many dudes, it's more worth it. Obviously, the more troops you have, the more the banner does, the more things will be on range of, the more rerolls you get. So take a banner with them, definitely. And then you start adding some powerful stuff. And this is one of the most powerful troops. He is an Urukai, so he unfortunately doesn't benefit from the Fury save, but will he need it? He is Fight 4, Strength 5, Defense 6. So he is very much a shock troop. You send in him, he will carve through troops like butter, and in combination with a mass load of orcs or a spear support, he's going to do his job, and he's going to do it well, and he's going to do it quickly. So these guys, I'd probably take 4, 5, maximum 6 of these guys. You don't want too many of them because they are expensive. They are in double figures. So definitely take a couple of them. Mordor Orcai. Yeah, I take a couple of them because they've got Fight 4. They are quite a bit cheaper than the Blackguard of Barad-dûr. Don't know if I actually said the name of them. Just assume you're watching. So yeah, the Blackguard of Barad-dûr there, and the Mordor Uruk. They are the same cost as the Mordor Uruk are the same cost as the Morannon Orc with a shield. These guys are defense 4 though. I think you can give them a shield to make a defense 5. But you'd have to convert it because you don't get any that come with shield. They're Fight 4 and Strength 4, which is good. So not having a whole load of these, but just having 5 or 6 of them scattered around just to pick specific fights, just to up your fight value in that fight, they're really handy. So yeah, they're cool. And something that's really, really annoying, just there to be a nuisance, is the Dead Marsh Spectre. Now this guy is really cool. I'd take 3 of these, basically the blister you get, the Orc, the Númenórean, and this guy, the Elf. Dead Marsh Spectre, he's really bad at fighting. He's Fight 2 with 1 attack, so you wouldn't even bother getting into combat. He literally just sits there at the back, points at an enemy model, and he's got a special rule called a fell light is in them, so he can make the enemy model pass a courage test, or take a courage test. If the enemy model passes a courage test, nothing happens, but if they fail, you can move them their full distance any way you want. So it's really handy if your opponent's got a banner there, giving him loads of rerolls, so you can pen him away, and now the banner's out of range. But not only is he out of range, say you are building it like I have, you've also now got your ring wraith there, blacked out that banner, who's got no one in base contact. Banner's gone. And if it's to the death, then you're laughing because you've still got your banner, and you've taken theirs out really, really easily in one quick move. So I have actually won a game of to the death in the first 2 turns, whereby he had his line of troops, I had my Troll Chief, my Ring Wraith, and my Spectre, and the rest of my army of course, but I used my Spectre to move a Warrior of Minas Tirith out of the way, to make way for the Witch King to compel out Kyrian, who is my opponent's leader, and then charged this guy into Kyrian, the Mordor Troll Chieftain, and then I charged in a couple of the Blackguard of Barad-dûr and just spammed these guys and had spear supports just for all the attacks, and needless to say Kyrian had no chance, and that was 3 points to me turn 1. Turn 2, I used the tactic which I just mentioned of using a fell light to move the banner out of the way, and then Black Dart with the Witch King and killed it. So I was 5-0 up because I had my banner as well. 2 points my banner, 3 points killing his leader. And essentially, to get anything out of it, he needed to kill my leader, kill my banner, and break me. And breaking this army with so many orcs is very difficult, especially when you've got the shaman holding everything together. So the sum up, as you can see, is my Black Gate themed army, 750 points. I would go for an unnamed ring wraith on horse, a shaman, your choice on Warg, doesn't really make all that much difference, a Mordor Troll Chieftain, Taskmaster, Mouth of Sauron, because 2 casters is always handy, and then a couple of Spectres, minimum 4 Blackguard, maximum 6. The same with the Mordor Uruks, I'd probably take 3 or 4 of them. 10 Mordor Orcs with spear, 1 with a banner. I'd then take a whole warband of these guys with shield, and take a whole warband of these guys, Rhino Orcs with shield and spear. So that would be my army. Obviously on a much larger scale. So yeah, let me know how you would build your Mordor army at however many points, 500, 600, 750 or 1000. This is 750. If I was going any less, like I said before, I'd probably take out the map of Sauron. Maybe the Chieftain, but they don't. Mordor does. It does kind of lack killing power compared to other armies. Yeah, it's got Gothmog, but he's only fight 5. Same with Shagrat. So the best option if you want quick killing power is the Mordor Troll Chieftain. For me anyway. So I normally keep him there. Ringwraith is always a must, Shaman is always a must, but let me know how you would build your Mordor army. Whether you go all Felbeast, take a troll leading a load of trolls, or just spam 100 orcs and have a number of captains just to get loads of might in there. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, share and subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow our blog, and